video from my usual videos, but I've had some requests because a lot of you know that I do travel often between the UK and America, and I basically grew up half my life in the UK without meaning to. I was always on visas and I never meant to stay, so I kind of accidentally grew up there. But because I was always on visas for a very long time, I know exactly the visa process and I've been through it all and I have a lot of experience with it. So right now it's on a tier 4 points-based system. Basically, if you provide the CAS letter from an accredited university, and it basically confirms your place on whatever course that you applied for, and then you get 30 points for that. And then if you can provide financial proof, like evidence that you can be supported while you're there studying, that you have sufficient funds, then you get 10 points. So 30 points plus 10 points equals 40 points, and as long as you can provide each of those things, you'll get your 40 points, and they have to grant you your visa based on those rules. So anyways, the visa process is extremely extensive, and I just wanted to give you some tips today, just because I know a lot of you want to travel to the UK, you want to study there for whatever reason, and you need a tier 4. I'm sorry, the only kind of advice I can give is about the tier 4, but I do know that the tier 4 is actually much more extensive than a general kind of visitor's kind of visa. So if you can provide, if you know how to do a tier 4, you will know how to do them all. Besides marriage and fiancé visas, I don't know how that goes. I think there's a lot even more to do with those kinds. But anyways, so I usually hire an expediter service called BRIGGS. They're now known as CIBT Visas, which is the same company, but they used to be known as BRIGGS. I think they kind of switched the name, or CIBT owns them or whatever. So they basically guarantee that they'll process your visa within 8 days, but it's more like under 10 working days, so about 2 weeks, which is really good. They also have an option to do it even sooner for like a $275 extra on top of the fee. The fee is quite reasonable. It's like $138, and that includes everything. And then you basically have to fill out a more extensive form than the actual visa application. So I'll go through with you everything I did. So first and foremost, you get this checklist. And this checklist is provided by the CIBT Visa website as part of their application kit. And it tells you everything to provide. And of course, along with your actual visa application, there's more. So, but this really helps having this checklist. And I usually create another checklist with everything that I provided. So these are the things that they need. So you can see the passport, upload your photos or photographs, blah, 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 you know, everything's there. So what I do is, I'm Canadian and I hold a permanent residency card. So I actually provide, you know, with coordination with number 1 saying passport on the checklist, I have the number 1 and I tab it with my passport and my permanent residency card of America as proof of my status here. So, and then it goes to, and then because I need to provide evidence that my mother is my mother, I provide my birth certificate. And then, so even though birth certificate's not here, it's within the visa application. Because my mother is my financial supporter, I have to provide evidence that she is my mother. So that's why I have to provide birth certificate. Then number 2, it says photographs. So another page, I put 2 my crackhead photographs put on there, you know, call it crackhead photographs because CBS couldn't have made me look any worse. Number 3, UK points-based calculator sheet. So on the website, it basically says, as part of the thing, it says points-based calculator to make sure that you know, have the right points, you're a tier 4 student, and it's just a simple, what is it, the formulation. It's not really personal, but just to make sure that you're clear on what you are providing and what you have applied for. So that's that. Okay. Number 4, Appendix 8. So this is the actual BRIGGS application. It looks like that for the Tier 4. And as you can see there, it says Tier 4 General Student, Appendix 8, and I put that as number 4. It's very extensive. It's about 17 pages, but that's not, every page isn't a fill-out page, but most of them are. And it just covers where you'll be staying, how much of the fees you've paid, how much your fees are, what course you're studying for, when it starts, when it ends, where it's located, where the actual site of your course is located, like not just the school address, but where the actual course is. Like, for example, I go to the City University London, but the bar is actually held at Gray's Inn, the City Law School. So even though the main site for the law school is at Northampton Square around Angel's an area, my actual school where I'll be doing the bar is in Chancery Lane in the legal district. So I had to provide both of those locations and the information. And then the summary sheet, like it says here, the points I'm claiming, the date, and what I've provided, evidence, blah, 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 another summary sheet. And then the fees. So it's basically all that information. So there is more information that you have to fill out when you do hire expeditors like CIBT Visas / BRIGGS. Then this is the biometrics. So when you actually apply for the visa, the Home Office site, you have to get your biometrics done. So basically, you're given a page like this. There's a barcode on it, and you have to go to the actual physical office for them to take your fingerprints, and there'll be a barcode like this with disclaimers and stuff like that. They scan it in, and then after you get it done, you get this stamp, and this stamp is everything. So you have to provide this receipt. So basically your biometrics appointment confirmation letter, as well as the payment confirmation page. So just print that out, and you can find it while you're actually applying for your visa. You should print all that out, but this is the stamp that they give you after it's done. Then number 6, the CAS letter. So the CAS letter looks like this. You get a CAS number, and it's basically the university's offer to you and confirming your place on the course that you've applied for. And this is everything. This is where your points come from, and everything else is just supporting documents. So your CAS letter is the letter that everything's based on, the most important part of the application when you're applying for Tier 4. Then, of course, I provide my final transcripts. And so my final transcripts are there. And basically, you know, final, I don't know if you can read that. I tabbed it, final transcripts, and then the courses, whatever. And then my other transcript from my other undergrad course at another university. You want to provide all the official, like, original transcripts, not just copies of them. And then, of course, this is the actual visa application itself. So that had to all be filled out, and it is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 10 pages long. It's not too bad. A lot of the questions are yes and no, but you know, everything is serious questions, and you have to provide evidence of things. Your parents' date of births, your location, the Tier 4 sponsors license number. So the sponsor is your university. So the license number, name of the sponsor, so the name of your university, full address of your sponsor, so the full address of your university, confirmation of acceptance. So the CAS means, sorry, I didn't mention, means confirmation of acceptance of your place onto the course that you've applied for. and everyone has a special like code number for that CAS letter. So I had to put mine down, the title of the course, the level of the course and qualification, when it starts, when it ends, and everything. So you basically, and then of course they ask for the fees again and ask for the points again, how much points are you claiming, and you're basically filling out the same thing over and over again. But the most annoying part is having to go through your passport, and because it says, it also asks if you've traveled, like to list the last time you've traveled in and out of the UK and then anywhere else you've been. So I was like, I knew I traveled within Europe a few times while I was studying. So I went to Spain for like a week, I went to Italy for like a week, and I went different places. So I had to like backtrack and look through my passport, and really couldn't remember exact dates, but I went by the stamps obviously of when I left and when I came back. And just having to do that's a bit annoying, but you know, it's all worth it. Then you have to provide the actual order form. So you print out the order form of when you applied to a BRIGGS or CIBT. So you'll have an order number, an order form, and basically, yeah, just order number, form. Then you have to provide the letter of support. So my mother wrote me a letter from her office, so it's got her paper on it and her, you know, her business and all the information, signed, dated, and then she has to provide a bank statement. You either have to provide bank statements or a bank official letter, like what is it called? You have to provide evidence of your funds in your bank, or you can provide a letter that your bank actually just confirms in one paragraph that you do have the funds, and then it's signed and dated by whoever of the bank, like the relationship manager, yeah, who provided for my mom's. And then you have to provide your evidence of accommodation. So obviously if you have signed up for accommodation, you have to get them to give you a letter, either like upload a letter to your email or whatever, confirming that you'll be staying there, and proof of how much you've paid so far for the fees and whatnot. I'm staying with a close friend, so he's provided me a letter of support as well as his ID and proof of his address, and he provided me a letter of support from his job as well with the official paper and this and that. So that always helps. So when you have the overall checklist, so there's the checklist that you get from the CIBT or a BRIGGS visa kit, the application kit, but you should have an overall checklist of everything. So that's all the supporting letters and everything that you need to relate to everything that you have claimed, like your, you know, your financial support, your accommodation, whatever. Also your past degrees, certificates that you have acquired to get this current confirmation of acceptance letter from the university that you want to go to. So in my checklist is in the living room, but my other checklist basically starts with apply. So I created that checklist first and foremost. So the first thing I did was, number one, apply for visa. So that's at the actual government, I think it's the Home Office, you know, the visa.gov whatever website where you actually apply for it. That's the 10-page one, around 10 pages, and I went through with you already about that. But from there you have to provide other documentation to support your statements that you were claiming in that application. So whatever you need to have part of to support those statements, write down in the checklist. So for example, okay, well, I claimed that my mother is supporting me. Okay, so she had to provide this statement from a bank. She had to provide an official letter of support. You know, she signed it, dated it, it was on official paper from her work. And then she provided, then I had to provide a birth certificate to prove that she's my mother. So on the checklist, I will put mum's bank statement, mum's letter of support, my birth certificate. And then in the application it also says your formal qualifications, you know, what country were they in, whatever. Then I had to provide my original transcript page or your diploma supplement or degree supplement from whatever university, and it has to be signed, dated and stuff like that, and I already had that in my files. So that's what I also put on the checklist. I put so-and-so transcript, so-and-so transcript. And, you know, as you put them together and tab them, you know, you can start checking them off or lining them out on the checklist. And then you start to create a really well-organized application. And I keep mine in a cute folder that says "Love Your Life." And I keep everything organized. Like, it's good to have a file folder where you have a transcript page, letters from your university, stuff like that. And if you don't have them, then get to it. Email your university and ask for everything that you need. And yeah, but I can't stress enough to make your overall checklist. And of course, the CIBT visa checklist is part of that checklist. So, you know, within that checklist, I will say also the CIBT Visas checklist. Have that done. So then once I finished all these, I checked that one off on the main checklist. So, and it's so important to stay organized, and it's so much easier when you work off your checklist. So you make sure everything is there. It will make your application process so much easier and cleaner. It won't bombard you and totally drive you nuts, because if you don't go by a checklist, if you don't organize each one, everything is going to be a mess. You're going to have papers everywhere, you're going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be stressed out, and it's just, I'm saying it's so much easier if you've got something to work off of. You know, go by one thing at a time. So anyways, if you have any other questions about a Tier 4 visa for the UK, please do let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. And I hope I've helped you guys in some way, shape or form with your application, and thank you very much again for watching. Bye.